I know you worked in the theater industry for many years.
21 years.
This is the biggest hit theatrically of the pandemic so far. And you being a theater guy, I thought that'd make you very happy. I think theaters could make a comeback. What say you, Newt?
It's time to hack the movies with Tony and Johanna.
Hello, Johanna.
Hello, Tony.
What's this? We're talking about Godzilla and Kong, but this isn't our Godzilla podcast. This must be a special occasion.
Clearly.
It's like they remade King Kong versus Godzilla or something.
Actually, now it's Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, they switched it. Yes, for those of you who follow us, we do have a Godzilla-themed podcast. I just want to point out something. A lot of people were questioning me on this because I am Team Kong, and everyone's like, but you have a Godzilla podcast. First off, it's not just Godzilla, our podcast.
But you call it Castzilla.
Yeah, I mean, Godzilla is clearly the hook to get in there, but we've covered other giant monsters. We talked about Varan and
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, the Baragon. You can check that out at castzilla.com. But I was more of a King Kong guy, but he has less movies, so building a podcast around him would be stupid. However,
I wouldn't be on that podcast, probably.
On this channel, we've covered King Kong 76 and, of course, King Kong Lives. Anyway. So, yes, I was Team Kong. You were Team Godzilla. This is the possibly the final installment in the Monsterverse.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing a King Kong themed Netflix show, like an animated one.
But King Kong isn't like Toho.
Yeah, all right. So if the Monsterverse is to continue, it might not have the Toho characters. Maybe we'll still get Kong and the Hollow Earth doing stuff. But I mean, it's also possible Toho will just rename.
I mean, it also could work if Kong's like in the Hollow Earth because Godzilla's not going down there. He's doing his stuff up on Earth. He's
got
like
stuff to
actual
do.
like surface of the Earth.
Spoiler, Hollow Earth. There's going to be spoilers in it. It's Monday. I assume you people have seen the movie.
You had the weekend.
Okay. And if you did listen to our podcast, you would know that we took bets. And the loser has to read an apology written by the winner. I read what you would have had to have read had you lost on our podcast. And it looks like at the end of this episode, I will be reading the apology you wrote for me. Oh, do you want to pull it out there?
I want to mention it's real quick, a page long.
Jesus, mine was a paragraph and really well written. Anyway.
Oh, wait till you see mine.
So Godzilla versus Kong, which I'm probably going to call King Kong versus Godzilla multiple times. Directed by Adam Wingard. Are you familiar with this guy?
Kind of.
I know one movie you've seen. Yeah. I don't think you're a fan. He did the American live-action Death Note.
I know.
Yeah. Not good. No. I'm not the biggest Adam Wingard fan. I'm sure he's a nice guy and everything. But I liked, VHS 1 and 2. I
never saw the second one, but I saw the first one. I do like it.
I didn't really like Your Next. People really liked Your Next. The one where it's like a family reunion and then killers show up.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't too into that, but I did like The Guest with the guy from The New Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
The Guest was really good, and then
Be our guest.
I saw Death Note, and I'm not an anime guy, but I used to date a girl that made me watch all this shit, so I was familiar with Death Note. And so I knew what to expect. And when I watched the movie, even me not being an anime guy was like, wow, they really messed up.
Sorry, it's really bad.
And then I didn't see the Blair Witch reboot he did.
I haven't seen it yet. I do want to see it, though. I also want to play the game.
The game was good. I played the game. The game is a lot of fun.
I want to play the game.
But yeah, he was picked for this. I kind of like how every movie in the series has a different director. Mm-hmm. What's Gareth Edwards up to these days? Like, he did Godzilla, and then he did that boring Star Wars movie, and then I haven't heard anything about him ever since. The Kong guy's doing the Metal Gear Solid movie. Michael Dougherty's doing things. I haven't heard anything about Gareth Edwards.
Michael Dougherty's the Trick or Treat guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Trick or Treat.
Yeah. So what we kind of talked about on our show, but I kind of like this series. I was a little let down by each installment, but overall I like it.
Yeah, I mean, the first one...
Which we have a commentary track for. Keep going.
It could have been better, which they did kind of make it better with the new 4K, brightening,
yes,
whatever
which I have
release.
there, yeah.
Second one, A little too much human stuff going on in there.
Second, Godzilla or Kong?
Godzilla.
Oh, Godzilla, okay.
A little too much human stuff going on in there.
Too many characters.
Yeah, it was just like all over the place. Mothra was in it though, so hey.
Yeah, I think I was let down a little bit by the first one because I thought it was going to be like closer to the original, like it was going to be the serious thing that had to make a statement and be realistic. I'm like, oh, I like that. And then it was that for a little bit and then giant monsters fight.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if I had known this was going to be a giant monster fight, I would have put myself in a different mindset.
I just kind of went in blank because I was like, I don't know what this is going to be.
Kong Skull Island, at the time, I wasn't really into it. I wasn't the biggest fan of Toho's King Kong because let's show a picture of him. How can anyone be a fan of that stupid face?
It's really bad.
So when I watched Kong Skull Island, I'm like, what is this? Is real schlocky. But then I
was going to say, I liked it better the second watch.
Doing our podcast and revisiting the Toho, now that I know that that's what this Kong is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be a love letter to the original like Peter Jackson did. I'm like, all right, I'm on board now. Anything's better than King Kong Lives. Just want you guys to know that. If you ever watch a giant monster movie, just tell yourself, well, it's not King Kong Lives. And then Godzilla King of the Monsters, I think me and Newt have talked about it. We got so pumped for that. The trailer looked great. We loved the director, and then it was just okay. It went a little heavy on the rain stuff. So each movie I get excited for and then let down by, but then eventually I just kind of even out.
That's why you just gotta go in with no expectations.
So this one, I was like, all right, this is what it's been building to. I'm sure it'll be fine. And for the first time, it exceeded expectation.
I really liked it.
Yeah. Some problems, though. No. They cut Jessica Henwick out of the movie.
I love Jessica Henwick.
This whole series was built around Monarch, the shield. And then they pretty much eliminated most of Monarch from this movie. Like,
there was just, the scenes with the tent.
Yeah, and Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
In his second King Kong movie. Who would have thought he would end up in 2 different Kong series? But yeah, the Mothra twin ladies, they had a scene that was cut.
Yeah, they cut it.
And then the head of Monarch is the receptionist from the John Wick movies. He was cut down so much, I think he has 4 lines in the film. It's a glorified cameo toward the end, and I think he's like one of the top billed actors.
Oops.
I didn't know this. Gia, the new girl, she's actually deaf. And her whole family's deaf. I'm like,
after we watched it the other day, I was like looking up everything because I was like, why is this happening? Why is this?
Yeah. Reminds me of what's that movie where Jim from The Office has to fight tiny Cloverfield monsters that don't like sound? A Quiet Place.
Yes.
The girl in A Quiet Place. I remember there was a deaf actress in that too. This kind of upset me. I mean, I like Junkie XL, but he replaced Bear McCreary from the last film, and the last film the music was great. I mean, he was recycling old Toho themes, but he did it so fucking well.
And he also does the God of War, like the new God of War.
He did the Angry Video Game Nerd movie.
I know.
Yeah. But no, Junkie XL does a good job. He doesn't really use a lot of the old themes other than the dun-dun-dun, but that was fine. And I kind of like this. Terry Russo, he wrote the screenplay for this. He wrote the unproduced Godzilla versus the Griffin script from the 90s, which we pointed out in our commentary track available on Patreon. The Godzilla 2014 used a lot of that movie, apparently. They're like, well, they never made it. Let's just steal it. And like I said, the only returning actors for this is Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
You could have done without them, but I guess Stranger Things is still popular, so you got to throw her in the movie. So let's get into this movie. 50 seconds in, we see King Kong. And somewhere out there, Peter Jackson was probably like, what? That's too early, crikey. This, I think we talked about in our commentary for Kong Skull Island, like, 20 minutes. This is the earliest Kong ever showed up. And then this one, it's like 50 seconds. There he is. And he's walking around scratching his butt.
Well, I mean, that's also the same. Godzilla was shown right off the bat.
Oh, in the King of the Monsters, they showed him right away.
Well, no, even in this one.
Well, not 50 seconds in.
Still,
but, yeah.
but like it wasn't like wait until the very end type thing. It was just like, there's Kong. Okay, let's cut to the Godzilla part. Oh, there he is.
So he's on Skull Island in a containment facility.
Yes.
With a fake sky, which I thought was weird. And he's there with his little deaf friend. We find out that she's the last of the Iwis, the natives there.
Because the storm wiped everybody out.
Yeah, so now on Skull Island, there is just a constant storm.
Yeah.
Like it's constantly storming.
I was seeing something, it was because of all the recent kaiju stuff, like all the monster stuff that's made it like go wonky. I read some. Don't quote me on it, but
Yeah.
I saw something about
the previous film established that the Titans, the kaiju, their radiation manipulates the environment.
Yeah.
And then that's why Ghidorah was such a problem, because he was from a different planet and he was turning it into his planet. So for a minute, I'm like, oh, did the Ghidorah storm? But it's still there, so there's just a storm there now.
Yeah.
It killed all the other Iwis except for her. So that's sad.
Yeah.
Those psychic Iwis. They were psychic. I thought maybe she was psychic. I didn't realize she was deaf. I just thought the previous film said that.
You know, the moment I heard the like the soft thudding thing, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca Hall's in this. I really like Rebecca Hall.
She actually adopted the little girl in the movie. Apparently.
I thought like in real life.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
Well, that's weird.
No, in the movie.
Yeah. Rebecca Hall's really good. She was in like The Prestige, Iron Man 3. She was in a good horror movie I saw recently. And she is visited by Lucius Fox from Gotham for like 1 second. I'm like, oh, that's Lucius Fox at Gotham. I don't know if you watch Gotham.
No.
It was a fun show. Basically, he's like, hey, this containment thing can't hold Kong. We got to get the hell out of here. And she's like, the moment he steps off this island, Godzilla is going to get in a dick measuring contest with him.
Yep.
Which is surprising because they don't have dicks as far as I can tell. So I don't know how they're going to measure them.
I just read you the Shape of Water.
Oh, yeah.
Where it had to hit it, and then she was like,
Remember that girl was in these movies? And
Yep.
Ghidorah ate her.
Yep. Yes,
Ghidorah
he did.
singled her out
Yep.
and ate her. I love that they kept the redacted credit sequence. I really like that where it's...
So when they were like showing what was going on, like technically like the origins of like the Titans and all that, at one point they show like who Kong killed, who Godzilla killed. Mothra wasn't in that. Like I was pausing and going through. I did not see Mothra. I saw everybody else except for Mothra.
I would have to go frame by frame. I think I saw Rodan. I'm like...
Yeah, Rodan's in there. Yeah.
Like, Rodan was a lot.
And it says defeated.
Does defeated mean killed, or does it just mean
I don't know.
Godzilla beat
I
them?
don't know, because they also say that, like, these are the last of the Titans, and it's just like, well, are they the only two left? Is that, like, the thing now?
I don't think they're the last of the Titans,
That's
right?
supposed to be.
I'd have to double check. I literally watched this morning to taking notes. I need to actually sit and watch it and actually enjoy it as a movie, not hanging out with you assholes or taking notes the entire time. I do like, there's a conspiracy nut job in this named Bernie.
Yeah. What's the thing called?
It was the Titan Truth podcast. The Titan Truth.
Titan Truth.
I wonder if he has a subreddit full of cringe. Apex is a cybernetic company, I guess. I don't really know what they do.
It says it there.
Yeah. I don't really know what they do. They showed a little video, but I'm not like, okay, you make robots that deal with plants, I guess?
Whatever.
Who knows? But he's supposed to be like comic relief in this.
I feel like there was 2 comic relief characters.
Yeah, there were 2, 3 maybe. So he's like annoying guy, and he figures out there's something on sub-level whatever.
Yeah.
But then Godzilla comes and starts attacking. And I kind of like this because I'm a weirdo. I like Godzilla as the bad guy. I always like Godzilla as an antagonist, and he hasn't been in he's killed people on accident. But this is the first time I've seen him like, I need to destroy everything.
He like full on just rolls up. He's already glowing blue, and he just starts blasting everything.
Yeah, my idea is like, I'm guessing because the first one, he didn't really glow until the end.
Yeah.
I'm guessing maybe he's just been hibernating or something. And then the second one, he's glowing a little bit more. But I think Mothra, like, supercharged him. Obviously, he's not burning anymore, but he's, like, glowing a lot. He looks a lot stronger, and he's a little bit taller. I'm like, I guess the Mothra energy helped him. I don't know. But yeah, it's cool just seeing him as, like, a bad guy. Well, he's not really bad, but he's perceived as a bad guy. And we see like a little red ball that's making the orca sound.
Yep.
I wonder what the red ball making the sound could be at the cybernetic company.
Totally not the orca from the previous movie.
Yes,
that they had to have taken the...
But what could it be building up to? I don't know. It was such a well-kept secret unless you walked into a Walmart or
Target
turned
or
on
any type of
Facebook
store.
Marketplace.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder...
Looking at toys.
Or just even some of the trailers. But yeah, we'll talk about what the secret is in this movie. Millie Bobby Brown, who's back.
Yep.
By the way, terrible actress. I don't know what it is, the older she gets, she's just trying a little too much at times.
I think she's fine.
Gosh, I saw that trailer for that Sherlock Holmes movie, and I'm like, what is this? This is
It's
bad.
for kids.
Kids are stupid. I don't know what it is about this movie. I'm like, man, she's really bad in this. I realize.
I mean, there's really not much for her to do in this.
There really
She's
isn't.
just kind of there to stand
There
Godzilla.
really is nothing for her or her dad to really do. Because Monarch is so not involved in this a little bit.
I honestly think it's only because there was that big group of humans who were pro Kong. So they're like, oh, we have to have someone pro Godzilla in this.
But they're not really pro the fight.
Well, just like they're there for him. So
what
they needed someone else to be there for him.
She's still a big name and still popular, so we need her in the movie.
Whatever.
But she's a fan of the Titan Truth. I love that he's basically saying Alex Jones things. Like, we'll get to the one that he says later on. I'm just like, which I call facts anyway. So this is the first time that I can recall that Philadelphia has been in either a Godzilla or King Kong movie.
Because remember when we were watching, I'm like, oh my god, it's Philly, and then we're like, where is that?
It's a fake.
it does not exist.
Institute in Philly where Alexander Skarsgård, Eric Northman is. Apparently he took this. I haven't seen anything he's been in recently, but he took this because he's like, I was in a lot of serious roles and I just wanted to be goofy for a little bit. Because he's kind of comic relief in this. Like, he's not like the action hero. He's kind of like a doofy kind of guy. I kind of like that he's
like a nerd.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like an action star, but I like that he wasn't an action star because Tom Hiddleston sucked in Kong Skull Island.
I will still never get over that, where they have the scene where they show him all being all badass with the pool stick and everything, and then he just kind of does nothing for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. At least the director admitted it. At least my good friend Andy Signor got the director to admit all his faults in Kong Skull Island.
Oh my god.
But basically, the Simmons guy is there. He's the head of Apex Cybernetics. I almost called it Cyberdyne again.
I was gonna say, what?
So he's there to talk to him, and he brought his assistant, Ren Sarazawa. So I heard that name this morning. I didn't hear it the first time. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Sarazawa?
Yep.
And according to the internet, I don't know how
IMDb and everything has him listed as that.
No, that is his name. But according to the internet, we're supposed to believe that this is the son of the Ken Watanabe character, Ishiro Sarazawa, that he never mentioned. Just like Pacific Rim, Idris Elba just never mentioned that son that he had. Oh, spoiler, they're bad guys because they're so clearly bad guys.
Yes.
Like, they might as well just had bad guy written on. The one guy's name should have been bad and the other one should have been... According to the movie never confirms if they're related.
No.
There's no scene
there's literally nothing.
I was expecting like my father's obsession with Godzilla killed him, and that's why.
That's what I thought too, and that's why he was like, because he has that moment on the roof when he's about to get on the helicopter. He's like just staring at him, and I was like, oh, maybe like the guy behind him will say something like, oh yeah, like we know that your father died or whatever, but we have to get out of here now. Blah blah blah.
If you're gonna cut that backstory out, I would have changed his name. Then again,
maybe there's a deleted scene. Who knows?
Maybe Sarazawa is just a common name.
It's probably like Smith over there.
Basically, they're like, hey, we have a map of the I keep saying Middle Earth, Hollow Earth. We have a map of Middle Earth. and Alexander Skarsgård is like, yeah, I know.
I got a ring.
J.R.R. Tolkien wrote it. They're like, no, we want you to go to the Hollow Earth and get the energy source that is responsible for all the Titans. Somewhere in the core of the Earth. And we'll go into how Hollow Earth differed from what I thought it was going to be. He basically tells him, like, we can't. My brother went there and he died. The gravity changed and they got crushed. He's like, well, we got special flying hovercrafts. Heave, I think they call it.
They were Heave. With no E. It was just Heav.
I like these because Godzilla movies have a lot of flying hovercraft alien things, and they look like right out of. I'm like, okay, it reminds me of Godzilla 1985 or 84. Godzilla Returns, I think they call it, where there's like that flying thing that shoots Godzilla.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So I kind of like that like nod. And he's basically like, all right, well, these machines can get us there, but we got to find the source. We need a Titan that'll lead us. Just like,
whoever will it be?
Who do we have? It's like, oh, King Kong. But they never call King Kong.
No, he's just Kong.
Only once on Kong Skull Island, John C. Reilly called him king, and that was it.
I mean, I guess he was king of the island.
I guess. Yeah, so he visits Rebecca Hall, and he's like, we got to bring Kong there. And she's like, no. And then he's like, lady, this movie's under 2 hours. We got to bring Kong there. And it's like, okay. So right away, he's on about, like, I'm like, I feel like this should have been a longer scene, but the director was like, nah, 2 hours. Let's go. And I like this. Well, one, it's a reference because, they usually put Kong on a boat in Kong movies. But I like this because it looks like the original. I mean, he's not on a raft being hauled by a boat. He's actually on it. So that was a nice little wink and a nudge. I do want to stress, this is not a straight up remake. There's nothing about magic string. I really don't like the original King Kong vs. Godzilla. You know what? That's wrong. The Japanese cut is okay.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen the Japanese cut, I have more respect for it. The American cut is awful, though. It's so
Aren't
bad.
they like majority always, though?
Not all the time.
Majority.
Not even a majority, because
I would say so.
For a while, we talked about it on the podcast, for a while they were kind of co-producing them. It's the ones where they edit them after the fact. Those are the bad ones.
They shoehorn the people in.
Yeah, when they shoehorn people in and shit. Oh, Isa Gonzalez shows up.
Yep.
That girl's babe. Did you watch From Dusk Till Dawn show?
No.
It's really good. She plays the Selma Hayek character.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah.
She was in Alita Battle Angel. That movie everyone pretended to like to spite Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Everyone pretended to like it because when Captain Marvel came out, they're like, see Alita Battle Angel instead. Screw Disney. And Disney bought the studio that owns Alita Battle, so now it's a Disney thing.
I love Alita, okay? I love Alita Battle Angel.
Anyway, I like Isa Gonzalez. She's completely useless in this. I don't think you really needed her.
She literally did nothing. She had like a sign, the one line saying like, drop the monkey.
They needed a bad guy later on because she's the daughter of who we will find out is the bad guy, even though we all kind of guess. We're like, oh, evil scientist in long black coat with other shady scientists. You're the bad guys. And then she shows up looking like a Matrix character. I'm like, well, that's clearly the other bad guy. I do like the scenes with Gia and Alexander Skarsgård. I switched between character names and real names because I can't remember a lot of character names or actor names. But I like when she called him a coward. Yeah. And they're like, that means you're very brave. He's like, oh, thank you. So later that night, we have Kong freaking out. And much like Kong 76, the girl's got to calm him down.
But he's just in the rain. There's nothing to cover him. He's just getting soaked.
You have all this technology. You could have just get a tarp. Dome. Give the guy a blanket or something. They have a net that can cover him later. You're telling me they can't make a tarp big enough to cover him? Come on. You have tarps that can cover football fields, for God's sake. God. But this reminds me of the Kong 76 where he's having a meltdown. He's almost breaking the ship, and What's-Her-Face had to go calm him down. This is less erotic because it's not made by pervy Italians. So she calms him down, and then that's when they realize he knows sign language. He knows human sign language, which is shock. You know gorilla sign language?
They don't.
That's apparently a lie.
Yeah, they don't.
It's apparently a lie.
Yeah.
People are going to yell at me now. I mentioned in the Congo rental reviews, I'm like, yeah, I looked into it. Apparently, that's just all made up. And there's no clear, vocabulary or anything. By the way, I noticed you have a Godzilla toy over there. What is that?
This one?
No, that one.
The Shin Godzilla?
You didn't even see that movie yet.
Oh, my boyfriend got it for me, though.
Oh. I got the legendary Godzilla. But it's the 2014 one, so the King of the Monsters and this new one changed his spikes because they were more triangular, and they gave him a maple leaf pattern. Anyway, back to this movie. So they felt the need to give Millie Bobby Brown another wacky sidekick, which is the kid from Deadpool 2.
Yeah. He literally served no purpose except for to drive her to the other guy.
But she drives. She could have just...
But, the car.
She could have just taken any car, really.
She could have hijacked a car for all I know. What?
Yeah, for some reason, they were like, Millie Bobby Brown needs to have 2 wacky sidekicks, and also she needs to be wacky. He does nothing. He does one-liners here and there. He does something at the very, very end, which could have easily been given to Millie.
Anybody. He could have... Well, when we get to it.
A fucking cat could have knocked over the thing that saves the day.
The dude could have dropped it himself.
Yeah. You didn't need this character, but... I will forgive it because I think it's so Isa Gonzalez you need for one these characters didn't bother me as much as they did in King of the Monsters, where they're like, this is a wacky scientist, and this is a quirky scientist, and this is the smack-talking military guy, and the other smack. And it's like, oh my God, let's just focus on 3 people. This is a little bit better. It helps that one character doesn't talk. It really helps.
Yeah.
So they have to find Bernie.
He bribes him with $10.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, you got to buy a fish, and I'll tell you where he is. And then Bernie, like, realizes who Millie is. You know, because her mom is a famous terrorist.
Well, what was it? Was it on his board? It was like hero or terrorist. Remember, it was like the newspaper clipping.
She's 100% a terrorist. Like, she might have saved the day in helping Godzilla, but she caused all the problems by releasing Ghidorah. Like, she was kind of a terrible person that deserved to die. I mean, the Capitol was completely destroyed in that movie, and so was the White House. It was completely flooded. You don't just get a pass from that. He meets up with them, and he tells them not to drink tap water because there's fluoride in it. I heard on a program that it makes frogs gay, and it was a very educational program. So despite the fact that Bernie is a comical character, they gave him a tragic backstory.
Yeah.
His wife died. Did she die as a result of the monsters? I think she just died. And he carries a flask in a gun holster because he's quirky. And he's like, when this thing's empty, I know I've given up. And it's like, oh, okay. But then we finally get to it. We get to the first fight.
Yeah,
King
we
Kong
do.
versus Godzilla versus Kong, whatever the movie's called.
It's Godzilla versus Kong.
And Godzilla cheats. He's a dirty cheater. He fights him in water. Kong is chained up. And he tries to drown.
Because that's Godzilla's fault. Blame the humans.
It is.
They decided to take him on the boat, to take him out.
Godzilla should have waited until he was on land.
No.
Godzilla had an unfair advantage, okay? And being the true villain he is, he's destroying the men and women who serve our great military because he hates America. Yeah, but you know what?
You want to know something funny?
What?
Godzilla didn't do anything except for make a beeline towards King Kong, okay?
He could have...
No, I'm not done. Okay. The humans decided to shoot first.
Wow.
Humans shot first.
But you know that, first off, I don't know how the military, like earlier, like planes are attacking them. This goes for every Godzilla movie that's a sequel.
Why are you even wasting your ammo?
At some point, someone's got to be like, hey guys, this doesn't work. We should probably conserve our ammo for some other threat.
You would think.
We need to think of another way to lure and distract him. Literally, we blew a nuke up in his face and he was fine. We literally... Like, the nuke was in his face, and then he actually made him better.
It made him stronger.
Finally, Alexander releases Kong.
Yeah.
And,
wait, and also, like, the boat flips because Godzilla knocks it over.
Yeah.
He doesn't go through it like every other one. He just knocks it over. So...
I mean, he is a dumb animal. I know he's got some level of intelligence, but...
So, it's for plot.
Yeah.
So, the little girl and Rebecca Hall go into, like, what I suppose was, like, a safe room. They almost died in there.
Yeah, they almost drowned
away. Right away.
But they flip it over. Yep. They release him, and we get an awesome moment where Kong has to get to a bigger platform. There's an aircraft carrier, so he jumps on a boat, which I assume has been evacuated and didn't kill anyone. Then he jumps on.
And he jumps on the other one, totally evacuated too, even though you see the people in the planes.
Yeah. Well, he picked up the plane. And so remember, the Iwis in Kong Skull Island are psychic. He has a psychic bond with the little girl. He told that pilot, hey, guy, you should eject when I throw you.
You're so full of it.
Because I care about you.
You're so full of it.
And I care about America. He said that to him. And then he
did not.
And then Godzilla.
You're so, oh my God.
Godzilla was like, I will not stand for that patriotism, Kong.
I cannot wait until you read this. I cannot wait.
And then we get this probably the most iconic shot of the movie where Kong just punches Godzilla right in the face. I like that Godzilla can't really make a fist because the way his hands are.
Yeah, he has like this.
Thumb, but
it's like this.
He can like grab.
So he literally just goes like this.
He's kind of like.
And his arms are shorter too.
Yeah. So Kong. Yeah.
But it's literally like this.
So Kong like full on cold cocks him, and then Godzilla's like, ah. So Godzilla's embarrassed. And he's like, well, let me resort to my atomic breath, which I think should be off the table. Doesn't seem fair to me. Doesn't seem fair to me.
He can just do it, though.
Look. As we all know, Kane and the Undertaker have electricity and fire powers, but they don't use the electricity or fire powers during the match because it wouldn't be fair. Am I right?
It's a lizard.
Godzilla.
He just wants to fight and take out the other person because he wants to be the king.
Mayor Glenn Jacobs Kane would never use his fire.
You're so annoying.
Even in Inferno matches, Kane did not use his fire power.
You're so annoying.
Godzilla needs to take a page out of Kane's book.
No. Sorry that your dude's just a monkey.
And by that, I mean Godzilla needs to run for mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Oh my God.
So Godzilla gets him. He like wraps him up in his tail and starts dragging him down. And he tried to use the so Godzilla is clearly trying to kill Kong here.
Yeah.
It's inconsistent with what happens later on. Like he's clearly trying to kill him.
You want to know why? Plot,
yes. They figure out a way to disorient Godzilla. They drop death charges, which probably because they have that echolocation, probably disorients him. And Kong gets out and they're like, so Godzilla's smart enough to know when there's weapons at him. They established that in the previous film. None of those super guns were on the boat. Remember they had those super guns? They never got to use them. Anyway, you know what also is not in this? The giant Monarch plane that's supposed to monitor all this Titan stuff. That like, isn't this like a thing that they should be hovering over this and
tracking Godzilla at all times?
What the fuck? What are they doing? Where's that big plane?
They're just standing under tents.
That big plane shows up nowhere. Yeah, they're just in tent.
They're just going,
They rented a tent out for
what to do?
It looks like the tent my uncle used to rent for a pool party. Yeah, so he frees Kong, and they turn down all the boats, like the power. So Godzilla realizes
Kong's hurt.
Yeah.
At that point, whatever. So he just goes and he's just kind of like laying on the boat. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he was like about to just pass out too. Yeah. And then Godzilla was just kind of like a stretch away.
Because Godzilla's fine if you submit.
Yeah.
And that, I know technically Kong wasn't submitting, but to him it looks like a submission.
Yeah. But yeah, then Alexander Skarsgård's character turns off all the stuff or whatever, and everybody's like, what are you talking about? Don't do that. And he's like, just do it.
Yeah, and
then Godzilla peeks his little head and he's like
he like peeks out. He's
what's
like,
going on?
Huh? Okay.
It's done? Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm out. See ya. Go find something else to fight.
My one issue with this film is the way they're filming them, they don't feel big. Like Godzilla 2014, Godzilla felt big because of how they were filming him from like, the goal there was to always film from a human's point of view, and then they kind of broke that in the next two films. But I guess
I mean, at this point, whatever, it's just giant monsters fighting.
I guess also what the issue is their first fight is like in a big open ocean. So other than the boats, there's really nothing to like put them in scale. So they don't like they are big. They just visually don't feel big.
Yeah.
But I do like all the shots you get them. You can see. By the way, fight in the daytime. Fight in the daytime. Finally. So yeah, we cut back to Millie snooping around. They get into like a cargo thing, and I guess we're supposed to assume that Apex found one of the Hollow Earth tunnels and made a what is it, the Hyperloop? They made like a transport thing that just could ship things to Hong Kong in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But on board, they find skull crawlers.
Hell yeah.
And Newt actually made a good point, who might show up at some point. Newt made a good point. He thought there was going to be a scene where like they accidentally let out the baby skull crawler.
I was thinking so too, or that like one started hatching or something.
I'm guessing if this movie was like a little bit longer, that would have been like the breather scene, like the human character breather scene. But instead they're like, why do they have skull crawlers? And well, we'll find out when we get to Hong Kong. We get another homage to the original movie.
Yep.
They put Kong on a net and fly him with helicopters, much like they put him on string and flew him with balloons. Turns out helicopters are fine. He didn't really need the balloons. So they're flying him to Antarctica. Right? Antarctica? Yeah. Because there's an entrance to the Hollow Earth there that no one's ever been able to break into.
And again, they don't give him like a coat, a blankie, just nothing. He's just
get him a blanket or something.
He lives on a tropical island and then they just throw him in the snow.
Yeah,
which was really cute when he was lifting up the snow. He's like, what's this?
I don't understand what this is. I don't know where I am. But they take him to a facility there. So they need him to go in there to lead the ships. But he doesn't want to go in because he doesn't trust any of them. Because he's like, you guys took me off the island and then...
That and also it's just like a weird hole. It's not even like a cave or anything. It's like definitely like a like I guess machine hole.
Yeah, and this part's kind of mean. They get the little girl to lie to him.
I wouldn't really call it lying because she said might have family there.
But, like, I think they kind of know. They're like, hey, your family might be down there.
I mean, he's definitely using the family thing against him because he's definitely lonely and he wants his family, which was also established in Skull Island.
They're both lonely because I guess what happened was that there was the war. At some point, Godzilla and Kongs went up to the surface, and the Kongs were wiped out. Or the Kongs were wiped out by the Skull Crawlers, and Godzilla's were wiped out by the Mutos.
Yep.
So they're the last two. Or are they? Because there's someone in the Hollow Earth where I'm like, is that? Anyway. So yeah, he's like, all right, I'll go into the thing. That convinces him. And I like when he's like swinging through the cave. He's holding onto the scaffolding, and I just wanted to be like, hey, could you not? That's a lot of money. That's actually
I was waiting for it to break.
Yeah.
Or like each one, like when he goes to swing, it just like snaps.
just crumbles.
Yeah, everything just starts
He just caves
down.
himself in. They're like, oh,
Well, I hope we can get out another way.
They're like, hey, Kong, there's a floor. Just the floor. So when they said Hollow Earth and Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of the Monsters, the first film they said these monsters were on the surface, and then they went below when they needed more radiation. But then they've kind of changed it to where it's like, no, they actually came from the Hollow Earth. So how I thought in the previous movie, it was a series of tunnels with like air pockets here and there. Because remember, Godzilla was in that city, which I think might be Seatopia from Godzilla vs. Megalon. I'm not sure. Where apparently he was worshipped, and there was like that air pocket where he could like regenerate. I thought the Hollow Earth was gonna be like little stuff like that. I did not expect a Stargate that would lead you to a weird world that's in the planet, and then it has its own sun that can light everything.
Yep. And then like it also like the sky is also like a ground.
Yeah, I like the gravity going like back and forth. It's real cool and trippy.
Yeah.
It's something that
I really like using that blue light in that scene too.
Yeah.
Remember that blue like kind of glowy light?
Yeah. The Showa era. Really loved weird stuff like that. I love how in like 4 movies we've already gotten into the weird shit.
Really did.
Like the Showa era, it took a little bit for aliens to show up with King Ghidorah, and then it got a little weirder by the time you're at Ghidorah, he's flying. But this one, they're like, oh, 4 movie? Okay, we're in the Hollow Earth. It's another planet in the planet. It has its own sun. It's like, what the fuck? I think Carl from Who Are These Podcasts called us stupid when we explained that.
That's even stupider. That's the dumbest explanation possible. It doesn't even make sense.
It's something, Carl. Yeah, so
Flat
Godzilla.
Earthers sound smart compared to that explanation.
So once he gets down there, they get attacked by bats that are also snakes. The war bats, I think they're called.
Are they?
I think in the marketing they're called like war bats. They're kind of cool. They have like the bat wings, but I like how like they wrap around Kong and then
They were trying to suffocate him. Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, like that's pretty awesome. I love how on the surface he's kind of a big deal, and then he gets down there and we're like, oh, we're just gonna kill that new guy. He does kill the one. How he kills the one is awesome.
Yeah.
He like picks it up and it puts its head through a spike and then uses it.
It was
as
a rock.
bat.
It was just like a pointy rock, and I don't even think he was just aiming for it. I think he just kind of just like chucked it, and it just happened to smack its head on that.
Yeah, they help him in the fight a little bit, and then. So Kong in these movies, as far as I can tell, he hasn't done the jaw break yet.
No, he didn't.
I mean, he ripped that skull crawler's insides out, and the jaw was all messed up, but he hasn't physically grabbed the jaw and ripped it. That's like Kong's move.
I guess the only person who technically kind of did it was Godzilla.
He didn't really rip the jaw, though.
But he didn't like rip, but he still like
He opened the Muto's
jaw.
mouth. Yeah, there's a callback to that.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, Kong, I thought he was gonna do it. Instead, he just rips the thing's head off and then he drinks out of its skull.
He starts like eating it. Everybody's like, ew.
I thought that was actually pretty awesome. I'm like, all right, I like that. But yeah, as we all know, Kong hates snakes, especially the anti-rape snake from 76. If you don't get that joke, watch our Kong 76
please watch it. It's really funny.
You can skip King Kong lifts.
Yeah, don't.
So yeah, we see little Abiras. I don't know if they're Abiras, but they might as well be. Was there a crab monster? There was like a big spider in the previous one. Spiders and crabs are kind of closely related. Anyway, so we see some crab monsters running around, and then like a big alligator frog eats them, but it's the same color as Godzilla, and it has spikes from the 2014 one. So I'm sure it's like a member of like the same kind of Godzilla family. But for a minute, like when we watched it, I'm like, oh, that's Manila. Like, oh, there he is. is. There's Manila. There's this cat. I don't think it's Manila. I don't think it's a baby Godzilla.
I'm gonna call it Manila. I don't care.
But it's kind of like,
Prove me wrong.
crocodiles and alligators aren't technically the same thing, but they look similar. I think that's what it is, but I'm just like...
No, it's Manila. I don't care.
Because it had a dumbass face. I'm like, it might as well be Manila. Oh, man. Manila. You think we'll ever get him? Other than, if this isn't him?
You know what? Like, I actually really hope so. I really do.
That'd be pretty good.
That would be so funny. It'd be like, was it Jurassic Park 2?
With the baby
With
T-Rex?
the baby? This is a baby Godzilla.
I do like seeing more of the Hollow Earth. You find out, like, Kongs were actually, like, people. Like, they made statues and stuff. Like, you see a statue of a giant Kong hand, and I like that part where Kong is flying. Because of gravity. He doesn't have flying powers. This isn't like some movies we covered in our podcast where it's like, Godzilla can fly now. Fuck you. He could have used that 4 movies ago, but he's doing it now.
Whatever.
Millie and their friends and her friends show up to the facility where they're just walking around undetected. There's apparently no security cameras, no alarms.
Yeah, and then they...
I think we have better security in here than the cybernetic company.
Yeah, they just walk through the doors of this one area, and right away I point out, I'm like, there's blood, there's stuff, and then an eyeball.
Yeah, I'm fine with just eyeballs. It's eyeball damage. I didn't see the eye get plucked out, so I'm fine with that.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. So they find out they're in a big testing facility, and they unleash... I read that it was like the biggest skull crawler. It's bigger than the big one in the previous film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and apparently they've been breeding the skull crawlers to test out their new weapon, which is...
It's definitely not Mechagodzilla. It's a brand new robot. It kind of looks like Godzilla, but it's not Godzilla. It's Mechagodzilla.
What if it had been Mechanicon?
I would have lost it.
Pilot engaged.
But he completely annihilates the skull crawler, just rips it in half with his laser.
Yeah, and then also, like, Millie Bobby Brown and, like, the rest of the cast or whatever, they're just, like, in there. And then the skull crawler was actually going for... Millie Bobby Brown's character, but then there's just happens to be a little hatch in the ground.
I guess it's for like, people to observe.
Still.
Plot convenience. Anyway.
Yeah, it's literally plot.
Here's what I want to know.
But, well, I wanted to bring up how when they went in, and then once Mechagodzilla, like, brutally killed the Skullcrawler, it's just green guts, everywhere. Gross, but awesome.
So here's what I want to know. Why make a Mechagodzilla? Why not just make a bunch of those lasers and just power up those lasers and shoot it at Godzilla? You can put them on planes. I don't think you need a Mechagodzilla. I don't think you need a Godzilla. Why base it off Godzilla? Why don't you make your own agile kind of robot?
I think they just wanted their own Titan.
I guess the answer is it just looks cool and people like
also
it. I like Mechagodzilla, so what the fuck am I saying? But it's just like every time I see it, I'm like, couldn't you just put the laser on a bunch of smaller things?
You would think.
Problem with Mechagodzilla, his power depletes real fast.
Yeah.
Which is why the guy Simmons sent them down there to get the power from the core. It's the last piece of the puzzle, which I have problems with how they get that last piece, but we'll get to it. So Kong's parents apparently, or his family lived
ancestors.
Yes, they lived in the mines of Moria. It looked like the mines of Moria.
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth. I bet Peter Jackson was like, can you put me mines of Moria in there? Crikey. So apparently the Kongs were smart enough to make weapons, and they have axes made of Godzilla dorsal fins, which I thought was pretty cool.
Giving him something else.
And I like that he like sits in the throne. He's like, I'm badass.
Give him something else to be on par with Godzilla.
Back at Apex, it turns out the terrorist who had Ghidorah's brain in the last cliffhanger.
Was it Charles Dance?
Yeah, Charles Dance character. I guess at some point Apex got rid of them and took their Ghidorah brain, or Ghidorah head. And what they've done is they've hollowed it out. I think they put piece of the brain. I'm rewatching it. I think they said there's a piece of the brain in Mechagodzilla.
Okay.
And then they pilot there because the Ghidorah was psychic. They could communicate to each other. So you sit in a chair, which is, if you don't know Mechagodzilla, some versions he's a robot made by aliens. Other versions he's piloted by people. I think the one in the 2000s, they built him over the bones of the original Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of like, well, other than aliens, this is kind of like a combination of a couple of them.
It works.
It works. I was hoping it was building to one thing, but it didn't happen. So yeah, he's like sitting in Ghidorah, and that's how he pilots it. And I thought that was pretty cool. But Godzilla shows up in Hong Kong because he's not having this. Apparently, even though they don't have the power source, they still called to Godzilla for some reason.
I think it's something with Ghidorah's brain. It has to be.
You think?
It has to be. It has to be the only reason that, like, you know, there's a signal or something going out.
But they don't seem like upset when he shows up, though. They're not like, well, the one guy's like, it's too early to use it, but the guy's never been like, Godzilla's here too early. What could be doing this? But yeah, Godzilla shows up in Hong Kong and he's not happy.
Oh, he's pissed.
Oh, so we find out Monarch is there.
Yep.
Kyle Chandler's there, and this is where we
In
get
a tent.
yeah, this is where we get Lance Reddick from John Wick saying his 4 or 5 lines. Like, oh, like why? I didn't even notice him the first time.
I didn't either.
And then when I was watching, I'm like, oh, that is him. I'm like, oh yeah, he is not in this at all. It's like, oh, thanks, guy from John Wick. What are you doing here? I guess they needed that exact scenes, but they cut out his introduction, so it's like, oh, that's weird.
Oh, whatever.
What was that movie? I never saw it. World War Z, I think. The guy from Lost is in World War Z, but they did
Brad Pitt. Okay.
But they did so many reshoots and restructured the film where like he now has a glorified cameo. And I remember people being like, is that the guy from Lost? What's he doing? But he was supposed to be a major character and they just like eliminated him.
Oops.
It's so weird. This next part's a little confusing to me. Kong somehow activates the core's power.
Yeah, he takes his axe and puts it in the hole.
Yes.
That
and it
fits
absorbs
the axe perfectly.
It absorbs the radiation from the core.
And it turns into Godzilla.
I think they had all the axes lined up.
Yeah.
Because there were multiple axes.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So somehow the core charging these up signals Godzilla, who is now powerful enough to shoot his atomic breath through the crust of the Earth. Now, does his atomic breath, we don't see this, does it also go through a portal and a Stargate? I would assume.
I kind of just assumed, I mean...
Because he's going to be there for a while. Yeah. Like, the crust is... I don't even know this. The crust is really thin.
I just kind of assumed that was just kind of like a weak point, because, like, it was that weird, like, circular tunnel thing for... You know what I mean?
Oh, do you think he shot into a pre-existing tunnel?
Yeah, I think that's what that was.
I don't know.
Because you know what I'm talking about? Because around the thing, it was that circular thing.
No, they show earlier in that thing, there are tubes that lead to it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know if they all have their own portal, but...
I'm just trying to make sense of it. Like, that's what I took from it.
Because I feel like he would die doing that much radiation to drill that far. If there's a pre-existing tunnel...
Yeah, that's what I took of it.
The point is they didn't have time to linger on this, so it has me just going like, what the hell? What is going on here?
I remember when it happened, everybody else was just kind of like, oh, all right, that's fine. And then you're like, wait, like, that's just a thing?
I'm like, that's pretty stupid. You know what else is stupid? They're like, all right, let's get a sample from the core. And it's like, okay. They get the sample. They're like, all right, we're sending it to the base. And I'm like, you're in the center of the... I'm like, wait. Where is this signal relaying from? You don't have cell towers down. How are you able to send the signal?
Maybe that weak point. I don't know.
I get bad signal in my apartment because I'm in cinder block. You're telling me this girl can send something?
I'm sorry, say that again.
I'm in cinder block.
I get bad signal because I'm in cinder block.
Yeah, my apartment has a lot of cinder block, and that's why when I'm in my office, my signal sucks. We have shitty cell signal in this building sometimes. And we're above the crust. I don't know how she's setting that in real time through the ground like that. Took me out of
Maybe the weak point. I don't know.
0 stars. So anyway, they're relaying the information. So they're... Something about the information from the power source is being sent to the thing. And they're like, all right, we can fire up our Mechagodzilla. We have the final piece of the puzzle. And the guy's just like, we shouldn't do this. It's too early. And he goes, get in the goddamn chair. Sarazawa's son, maybe. Get in the chair.
Maybe.
And then below, I like the parrot bats.
Yeah, they were cool. The little parrot beakies. Cool. Yeah.
But Isaac Gonzalez needs to be bad. So she's like, we're going to take the sample of the core, which I think everyone knew that's why they were going there. And then suddenly Rebecca Hall has an issue with it.
Oh, whatever.
And she's like, we can't harness this power. And it's like, you signed up for this mission. Why are you suddenly changing your mind? Bizarre.
Maybe it's because they saw it as a danger all of a sudden. I don't know.
But Isaac Gonzalez is like, I'm bad guy now.
I run into my thing now.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here now.
Let's go, guys. Get into spaceship.
Oh no, what's gonna happen?
So this is pretty great. Well, the heroes are dealing with the parrot bats. Godzilla finally shoots through the crust and roars down into it, which pisses off Kong. But I like that Kong, he grabs the ship and then he checks to make sure the little girl's not in there, and then he just I love you hear her go, no. And he just crushes it without thinking. So Kong shows up in Hong Kong. Kong in Hong Kong.
He comes out of the hole.
They finally got King Kong in Hong Kong. It's really hard to say real fast. Yeah, he comes out of his hole and he beats the shit out of Godzilla. And then we get probably the third callback to the original. It's not a tree, but King Kong picks up the axe and just shoves the blunt side into his mouth.
We were both like,
great. And this fight scene's great. It's like Pacific Rim with the neon. It's not as bright as Pacific Rim, but it's all right. So Godzilla's breath just cut into the crust of the earth.
Yep.
So he's shooting it at Kong, who's jumping around, and it's nice to see Kong in a city jumping around, because we haven't gotten that yet in the series. And Godzilla's lasers are kind of working like Superman's lasers in the new movies, where it just cuts like paper.
Just like
So it's chopping through concrete and everything, and then it hits Kong and just a little burn. That reminds me of like Guardians of the Galaxy, where the guy Ronan got the power stone.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I have infinite power, and then he shoots a little energy beam, and it's like, that. Why didn't you kill them right now? Like, why are you delaying the kill?
Plot.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was ridiculous. Like, wait, a little bird? What the fuck are you talking about? But he's able to beat the shit. I think this is where he comes down with the axe and hits him in the face. And Kong's like, oh, shit. Because the axe, he's not able to defend against himself, which is pretty funny. And they cut him in the leg.
Yep. And then he turns around and he just like rips it out like that.
And then we get Skarsgård is like, well, round 2 goes to Kong. And I'm like, all right, well, they're evenly matched now.
I wouldn't even say that was the end of the match or whatever, because like it just cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Godzilla fell down and he was like down in like the rubble or whatever, but then it just like cuts. But then it cuts back to them and it's the same fight.
Look, there's also no referee. I don't know. Look, you know what? This is a non-sanctioned match for anything goes, I guess. I don't know.
My God.
So I guess the Undertaker would be allowed to use his electricity powers in an unsanctioned, but he never did. Anyway.
Speaking of electricity powers, remember him in the first one?
Yeah, but
just
he got
saying.
electricity power, which they almost built up to in this one.
I thought it was gonna happen.
So I like when the fight starts, like Godzilla's like looking for him. Like
he's down on all fours and he's crawling around. Like, he's doing like the alligator thing.
He's like, what's going on here? And then we see Kong grabbing onto a building. I'm like, oh, I didn't think this Kong would do that in the series. And he basically like body slams him. He gets some grappling, some intense grappling.
I liked how he like tried to trick Godzilla too. Like he took the
he threw a distraction.
He threw a distraction. Godzilla's like, what?
Aren't they able to like sense each other's radiation? Whatever. So he throws the thing. Godzilla's like, huh? So yeah, there's some awesome grappling, but then King Kong dislocates his shoulder.
Yeah, because Godzilla, was he hit him with his tail or he just body slammed? I can't remember.
Did, yeah.
But yeah, he like falls back and then you know, he's like,
and any
screaming.
honorable fighter would end the match there, but Godzilla fights without honor.
He went feral.
Yeah,
he went feral. He's like, I'm tired of this shit.
So that arrogant narcissist Godzilla beats him down. He beats him down in this town. And everyone just watches as this monster, more than twice his size, beats him down like the skinhead he is.
Skinhead?
Yeah, Godzilla doesn't have hair, so.
Anyway, so Godzilla beats Kong.
You know, the real winner was the friendship between Kong and Gia.
No, there's no friendship.
No, Kong and Gia. I feel like that was the winner for me. Godzilla might have won a fight.
You don't even like children.
Well, Kong won by a lot.
Oh my!
Kong won by a lot.
Okay.
Yes, King Kong loses. And
Yes,
I
he
will
does.
congratulate the film for having a definitive winner. I know Kong won in the original, but it was shot in a way where people weren't really sure like what happened.
It's funny too. The scene where pretty much like Kong actually like loses, Godzilla does this like long ass roar like on top of him.
Yeah.
Because he was like smacking him with his like foot and everything.
Yeah,
He
he like crushes
pissed.
his ribs
Yeah.
a little bit,
He was
and then like I love
pissed.
like Kong roar because they mentioned earlier Kong will not bow to
Yeah.
anyone.
And then Kong roars back for like a second or
Yeah.
whatever, and then Godzilla's just like, "You're done."
Yeah.
And then he just like looks at him. He's just like, "Yeah, you're done."
So the bad guy finally captures Millie Bobby Brown and all them.
Yeah, they're still wandering around doing absolutely nothing, and then they manage to catch them just as they're like leaving where the skull was.
Yeah. So they get caught, and he's all like, I know you. I made this. Humans need to be the apex predators. And we will show those titans and my new creation. But what he doesn't realize is the new power source is giving Ghidorah enough energy to just pilot the thing himself.
Which you heard his cries, right? When the thing was-
There were a couple times would have been really cool. I guess for Mechagodzilla, you want the red lights, but it would have been cool if the red turned to yellow because that was his energy thing, the light thing.
But yeah, I didn't catch that on the first watch, but the second rewatch, whatever, because I actually had headphones in.
Yeah,
I heard his little.
So I thought that was awesome. But yeah, so the bad guy is doing his villain speech, and then Serizawa, like, I think he dies. Like, he gets electrocuted. And then, like, but you just see Mechagodzilla, like, turn around, just, like, kill the bad guy in the middle of the speech. And even the birdie dude's like, I wanted to hear the end of that speech. Ghidorah has been reborn, and we've seen this in we've seen this in bad films. In this film, it was good.
Yeah.
Transformers 4. They make Galvatron out of like the conscience of Megatron and parts of whoever the Leonard Nimoy one was. And so Galvatron is taken over by Megatron. And then in Batman v Superman, they use Zod to make
I remember
Doomsday.
that. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It works better in this than it did in those.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Ghidorah waking up and now he is the thing that killed him. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what is this shit? And also this space alien has been able to communicate with technology because I guess his brain was hooked up. So he automatically knows how to use everything on his body. So he breaks out of there right away. He's like, I'm ready to fight. And just his luck. Godzilla's there.
Right there.
And it's daytime now. He's just like, oh, hey, buddy, what's up? Remember me? You killed me and 3 of my friends? Because this was technically the first head. Anyway, pretty brutal beatdown. Godzilla.
Yeah, he kind of went. I stand by this that Ghidorah remembered exactly what happened, and that's why he got so brutal with that fight. Because holy hell.
What you call it? At one point, they even do the anime shooting the 2 beams, and one overpowers the other. I thought that was funny. So Kong's heart is stopping, much like the end of King Kong 76, and they have to restart it like King Kong.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. They established earlier on that the heaves have enough electricity to light up a city, just one of them. So this universe solution to helping monsters is always to blow up stuff in their face.
Pretty much use it as a defibrillator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know how he thought that was going to work. So they blow up the machine in his face, and it restarts his heart. And he's like, I'm better now. And then Gia's got to be like, this is weird. Gia's like, Godzilla's not the enemy. That thing is. And it's like, I do like when she says he's not the enemy. Kong's like, no.
Because he's kind of like, excuse me, did you not just watch what happened? Like,
but I like that she's like, he's not the enemy. That thing is. So like, she should be like, they both kind of suck. Can you take care of it? And then we get a triple threat match.
Yep.
And it's pretty awesome. Very predictable, but it's pretty awesome.
Even right before that triple threat match starts, Mechagodzilla starts to open Godzilla's mouth.
I thought he was going to do the jaw break, but it wasn't. He was going to vomit his energy, and I'm like, that's a pretty...
Muto?
Yeah,
Muto?
when he did to the female Muto, and he vomited it in. But Kong saves the day.
Saved him. He's like, you kicked my ass, but you know what?
So they team up to fight Mechagodzilla.
It's actually pretty good.
It's pretty awesome. And then, because I like how Godzilla's technically stronger, but like Kong has the axe and he's a little bit faster around the thing.
Also, they're both kind of worn out too from the fight that just happened. Even though technically, I would say now Kong has the advantage because he technically just got like a burst of energy towards him. So,
I like when he puts his shoulder back and he just slams it against the building. Could you imagine just like cut to the inside of that building? Like, guys, look, Kong's better. Oh my god!
4 people dead.
4 people died. So yeah, they're fighting. It's pretty awesome. Mechagodzilla's shooting rockets and electricity and stuff because he always did that stuff.
Yeah.
I was hoping he had rockets built into his fingers, but they didn't do that. Yeah, and then we get this reminds me of like the Avengers would do stuff like this, where like Kong has the axe and then Godzilla fires his beam.
What was it? Godzilla got smacked into the building and like wasn't getting up at that point.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla goes and he fires his beam at
at the axe.
Yeah, at his axe.
Which then powers it up. And it reminds me like I know there's a few times in the Avengers where like Iron Man will shoot a laser onto the shield, which they use to deflect, and I think the electricity charged Iron Man's suit, stuff like that. So it's that. And then Kong's beating the shit out of Mechagodzilla. And then I was hoping he would do the jaw break, but no, he just cuts off the head again.
Yeah,
then he holds it up.
yeah.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, so that was incredible.
I loved that fight.
Oh, we forgot to mention the humans. They had to disable Mechagodzilla's security thing.
Yeah.
And the kid realizes the bottle of whiskey that the guy was going to drink. He pours it into the computer, and that somehow does it. And Miley Bobby Brown is just there.
Yeah. So that was
she makes a phone call. No, she makes a phone call that her dad can't hear.
Dad, I'm in Hong Kong. Dad, I'm in Hong Kong.
So a landline to a cell phone above the surface, bad signal. Sending data from the core of the planet.
Look, everything was messed up because of the Titans fighting, clearly.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Whatever.
So I like everything's all happy, and then Godzilla wakes up.
Yeah. He stands up, and then Kong's just like, oh shit, god damn.
He picks up the I like that Kong doesn't bow. Like he says, like, he kind of is like, all right, I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah.
But this isn't me bowing. And then Godzilla kind of looks at it and is like,
He's just like, all right.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like when wrestlers would have like a big battle and they beat the shit out of each other, and then they would have that sign of respect, like Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker, when he was like,
I'm still standing.
it would have been awesome that they shook hands. Godzilla has shaken hands before in other movies.
His look was good to a real hand.
Remember, he shook Jet Jaguar's hand.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and then we get a happy ending. This was going to be a post-credit sequence, but then they just threw it in the end of the movie.
It worked. It's fine.
Kong is now on the Hollow Earth, where he can live
and
happily
Monarch
ever after.
has... Right? It's Monarch?
Yeah, Monarch's just down
They
there.
have their little containment thing, even though there's a bunch of other monsters that can kill them, but for some reason, sure, Kong can just take care of everything themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, and I had a good time.
Yeah.
It was a really fun movie, good ending to the series.
And even rewatching it the second time, it's very rewatchable.
Yeah, it's short,
Yeah.
which is nice.
It's great.
Yeah, so I think that's all we have to do. I think we can wrap it.
Nope.
All right. All right,
gonna be so
hand
good.
it over. So like I said, the loser had to read an apology written by the winner. So here we go. Hello, my name is Tony from Hack the Movies. Recently, I made a bet with the strong and independent Johanna for the movie Godzilla vs. Kong. I foolishly believed Kong, a sad monkey, he's an ape, could defeat the king of all monsters, a being so powerful that nuclear blasts only strengthen him. I am here today to present the talented Johanna with this beautiful soliloquy. This is why I, Tony from Hack the Movies, was wrong, and Johanna was, and always will be, right. In all the years that I've known Johanna, I have always fought with one fact about her, one characteristic that is one of the many ways as to why Johanna is a superior human to me. She is always correct. Not only did I have terrible judgment in doubting the great Johanna about Kong, I have doubted her on many different aspects of life. Porgs, the creatures created by the fantastic and progressive Rian Johnson for the underrated Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, are indeed the best thing to come out of the Star Wars canon. They are cute, and Johanna's large collection is not only impressive, but also completely normal, and there's nothing wrong with it. In an age where women have made great strides against the patriarchy, Johanna, who has an appropriate amount of eggs for someone her age, has become an icon. In what fucking world?
I didn't ask for commentary. Read it.
By always being better than me, she has shown time and time again that she is in fact a true leader among people. I think what I'm trying to say is that I am a weak, inferior male, and all men are trash. Yes, all men, with women being our queens. In fact, she is the best co-host I have ever had because she is a woman and better than me in every way. After my poor choice of backing the Beta Kong against the Jack Godzilla, I see how I made literally the dumbest choice of all time. Debatable.
I didn't ask for commentary. Read it.
What is a monkey if not an underdeveloped human? And no one watched this movie for the humans. There is literally no way that dumb ape could defeat a walking nuclear weapon. That's like saying Ghidorah is a superior monster to the mighty Mothra. It's just factually incorrect.
Keep reading.
Unimaginable and statistically impossible. Godzilla is the king of all monsters, my king. I'm sorry for doubting you, Johanna. I was wrong about not only this movie's outcome, but also about everything we've disagreed upon in our entire lives. I want to leave you with this final statement, a testament not only to you, but to our listeners and the general public. I, Tony from Hack the Movies, want to humbly tell Johanna, our listeners, and the world that Godzilla won this fight by a lot.
I listened to the end of that. That apology actually brought a tear to my eye.
Oh, real quick before we end, this episode's already long. Newt, come here. So real quick before we leave, some good news for Newt. Mm-hmm. I know you worked in the theater industry for many years.
21 years.
This is the biggest hit theatrically of the pandemic so far. And you being a theater guy, I thought that'd make you very happy. I think theaters could make a comeback. What say you, Newt?
So, Justin and I last Sunday went to go see a movie at the theater, and it was great. And it was only a couple people there, and we said, this is good. You know what? Let's go see King Kong vs. Godzilla on the big screen.
It's Godzilla versus King Kong.
Whatever. It's
actually Kong, but
okay.
Keep going.
So, I bought tickets online for my friends, and then Kieran decided he didn't want to go. So, it was a full theater. Nobody was socially distancing.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So we go, and the lights don't go down when the movie starts. The theater's not cleaned, and the whole middle section is all teenagers.
Oh, good.
Okay? And every 2 minutes, they're getting up and they're walking by, and they're stepping on my feet, and they're shining their lights, their cell phone lights around, and they're talking and they're laughing. And it's pissing off Justin and Marshall and myself badly, because we're trying to watch the monkey fight the lizard, okay?
Yes.
Got to the point where I got up and I went out of the theater, and I said, can I speak to a manager? And
friggin' Karen.
Crystal, I told Crystal what happened, and she goes, why are you such a Karen?
You're allowed to be a Karen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You spent your money.
Crystal calling you a Karen is the pot calling the kettle black. But continue.
So I go out and I say, I need to speak to a manager. And the manager, I guess, because they haven't been open, didn't know how to deal with it. And he had that look in his eyes, oh no.
Panic?
Yeah, panic. So he comes in and he kicks out this big group of kids, but he does it I ran movie theaters for 21 years. There's two things I'm good at: running movie theaters and fucking. And sometimes I did them both at the same time. He didn't do that. Either one, probably. So they get out. They're making more noise on the way out and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? Tony and Johanna had it right. I should have watched it on the TV here where we watch the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
There's no reason to go to movie theaters ever again.
Oh, well, I thought you would have a different opinion, but okay.
I'm done with them completely.
So there was Newt's rant.
And there was a trailer, and I said, oh yeah, Black Widow is a movie that's still coming out. So I'm going to watch it on HBO Max because I want to actually see what happened,
So there we go. Like, share, subscribe. Join our Patreon. We have 2 more commentary tracks we have to do for this series. This is up for a month, so hopefully we'll have King of the Monsters and this movie's commentary track done. Yeah, and we gotta get through more DC movies. I think we're up to Wonder Woman now.
Yeah.
Should we do the Justice League?
Oh, I definitely want to do the Justice League.
I think we should do the Justice League. I was thinking of doing the Snyder Cut, but I'm like, I don't have.
Could we do it during brunch?
Goodbye, everyone.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.